Welcome to a special Facebook Live here at AAPC. I am AAPC Alex, and I have a few of my friends here who I don't see as often as I'd like because most of us work remote these days. And I'm just going to let them give some introductions, but real quick, just so everybody knows who's watching, our goal today is to talk to those who are considering a career as a medical coder or biller or on the business side of healthcare. If you're thinking about those opportunities and where do you start, this is the webcast for you. And we are happy to answer your questions and get you pointed in the right direction. So to start, I will turn the time over to Jeremy. Tell us about yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is Jeremy Scow and I have been at AAPC for just over 8 years. And I have the pleasure of working with these 3 incredible career counselors that we've actually brought to help educate us all on, what the difference is between medical coding, medical billing, what opportunities are out there. A lot of the awesome questions that we've had from, years and years of speaking with potential, people wanting to get into the coding and billing industry. And so we brought some of our very best talent here to answer your questions. And I'm just excited to ride their coattails and learn a little bit myself. Alex, thanks for inviting me to come today.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you could be here. Bailey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm a career counselor. I've been here for quite some time and I'm excited to help some new students answer some questions and get into the coding field. It's exciting.
All right. Thanks, Bailey. Justin White.
Thank you. My name is Justin White. I've been here just a little over 6.5 years as a counselor. Super excited to be here. And as Bailey said, to be able to answer any questions that you might have as you contemplate this career.
Okay. And Justin Barrett.
All right, Justin Barrett here as a career counselor. I know it can be a little confusing with the other Justin, but we're happy to be here. I have been with AAPC for 7 years and we're excited to be able to speak with you guys today.
Awesome. And I just want to give a few shout outs to a few who have joined us today. Lori from Colorado out in the Boulder area. She always joins us. And Lori, thanks for being with us today. We got hit with a snowstorm here in Salt Lake last night and it's beautiful, but super cold. I think they got the same thing. Maria Peters, hello. I'm Carlita Johnson from Las Vegas. And she always, when she comes in, she always shares the sun emoji. It's cruel, especially right now.
Yeah, because we're frozen.
That's right. Terry Finnegan from Maryland, Sari Devi from Chicago, Sue Morgan from Cincinnati, Ohio, and Berna Mays from Newport. Well, you guys, just to reiterate the purpose of this Facebook Live, we are focusing today on a prospective student. So if that's you, let us know in the comments. If you're thinking about a career in the business of healthcare as a medical coder or medical biller, let us know. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll try to do our best to get to them. So to start, I guess, there's so many different possibilities of the things that you guys get asked, but I think to start, and this came up in our discussion before we went live, which certification should you start with? And because you kind of see sometimes that medical coding and billing get clumped together, and how would you know what is right for you? Who wants to take a shot at that one? Bailey, I'm going with you.
Yeah, no problem. So coding and billing, it's probably one of the most common questions we get. I'd say more than not, we start with coding on that I see. We start on the CPC coding side of things. Very well-known certification, been around for a very long time. So I feel like it's very marketable and very well-known in the industry. So it's a really good foundation to get, and I feel to be marketable in the industry in like a wide range of different type of opportunities.
Okay, all right. And what do we see our members typically start off with? Because we have so many different certifications So you're recommending the CPC, Certified Professional Coder. Do we often see people start with the CPB?
So I think CPB is a really good, if someone is completely new to the field, CPB can be a good way to get your foot in the door and kind of learn the basics. I think CPC is a very good foundation, like I mentioned before, because people can build a career based off of just that CPC, or it can be a great foundation to build in other areas as well. But the CPB is a great starting point if you're kind of just not sure and getting into the field without knowing if you really want to go in depth into the coding side of things. There's a little bit of an introductory to coding in the billing training. So that's also a good one to start with. They're both very marketable and well known, but I would say in my experience with students that I work with, I would say that the CPC is more common to start with.
Okay.
The
Justin,
CPB, Alex, just so you know, it deals with claim submission, right? So you're actually dealing with insurances and claim submission, whereas the CPC actually is taking what's put into a medical chart and coding it so that there are actual numbers and codes put toward it that then gets handed off to the CP, so the biller, to actually send into the insurance. So both are really great starter certifications. But like Bailey said, one of them, the coding one, allows you to really get more in depth into the medical field, whereas the billing really deals with insurances and payers and everything else.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for that, Jeremy. And thanks, Bailey. Justin's, either one of you have any follow-up
Sure.
comments?
No, I can certainly follow up. I do agree with Bailey and obviously what Jeremy said. I think what, the folks that I'm working with, we try to find out where are they coming from? What are they looking for? What's their background? What got them interested in even, looking into this field, and kind of getting an idea of someone who maybe is coming from the medical field already and maybe is, maybe has some billing type of experience or coding. But I do agree that the coding does seem to be the one that is in the, I guess, higher demand case. But we do get a lot of questions of people who call in that say, I'm interested in billing and coding, as if it's a combined certification. We have two separate certifications, one in coding, one in billing, and just trying to dive down and ask those questions to see which one is going to be a good fit for that individual. And then obviously, giving them the proper information as they go on. But I agree, the CPC definitely seems to be the one that is in the higher demand right now. But the billing is just, I tell people that you can't really go wrong, so they're both very strong certifications.
That's interesting, Justin White, because sometimes when I see commercials for tech schools on TV, they say get a career in medical coding and billing, lumping it together, and they are likely preparing those students for the AAPC's CPC exam, which is coding specifically. So I guess you just need to be aware that are you getting the right training for what's going to prepare you for certification in your job?
Yeah, absolutely.
Justin
I'd
Barrett.
like to add one thing. One thing that's awesome that we just started about a year or two ago is we actually have a biller coder combo. So if you're not sure and you want both of them, we have both of them available. So there's still two different certifications and two different trainings, but we actually have a combo course that is available for individuals. So when you call in, this is the sort of thing we would talk with you about and ask you questions to help you and point you in the right direction.
Okay. I'm curious, what is that most common question someone calls into our career counselors cold and they want to, they are interested in this career path? What does that discussion look like, you guys? Bailey?
For me, I think Justin kind of hit on it a minute ago, really understanding what their background is like and kind of what their goals are moving forward. That's kind of where we fit in, is in the middle of like their background and what their goals are and finding the right path for them to get to that goal. And sometimes people come into these conversations and they have a background in healthcare, and then they're already a step ahead of someone who maybe has no experience in the healthcare field. So finding out kind of what portions of the trainings that they need and what their goal is to be able to, what type of facility they're wanting to work in, or where they're hoping to be able to work in the future. So I think talking through background and goals is a really big part of our conversations, because then we can really try to help get them on a path towards the right certification and hopefully right career for them.
So Bailey, it sounds like our courses are not a one size fits all. There's some customization based on their experience.
Yes, for sure. I think we definitely have a course for everyone, but we definitely have multiple different packages and training packages that we can put together for you. And that's kind of what I like to do, is help build those packages for someone and decide what they need to really make sure that they're prepared correctly for the right certification for them. So yeah, there's definitely not a one size or one course for everyone.
There you go. Okay, awesome. Justin Barrett, does a first discussion look like for you when you speak with someone who's calling in considering this career?
Yeah, absolutely. So you have individuals that maybe have already worked in the field, or if it's all new to them. So it's the same sort of thing. I just want to talk with you. We ask questions so that we can see where your path is and where you want to go and what your past is, so that we can point you in the right direction. I have individuals that call me that maybe they're a medical assistant, or they just barely got done with some training for medical terminology and anatomy and pathophysiology, and they feel confident with that. And so we're going to put together the right package and training to get your goal of what your certification is and where you want to end up, ultimately in your career and your life. And then it's not just in the beginning, it's also after that, because we have many different certifications to learn and grow and to get into specialties. But our job is to help you start that path on the right foot and then help you grow from there.
Okay. Thanks, Justin. How about you, Justin White?
Exactly what they said, but I guess to go a little bit further would be to really look at someone's situation. And kind of as Justin Barrett mentioned, some people will call in and, maybe they're in the healthcare field, they're a nurse or something, they know about the program, but they don't know all the ins and outs of the program, right? So we really have to go through and make sure that someone may call in and say, I'm going to be certified in 4 months, but they've never had medical terminology, anatomy, pathophysiology. So we really want to make sure that we're getting those questions answered to make sure that we're setting them up for the best success, as well as setting realistic expectations for them to be able to be successful and really explain step by step what they're going to encounter, in the courses as they go through it, so that they can see both the short term, which is going through the course, and then the long term aspect of when they're done, once they're certified, and moving on. So a little bit of everything that our colleagues have already talked about, but yeah.
Yes, great. Thank you. Now, I want to address a few comments that have come up in the chat. So I see a few people saying, well, how do I get that first job? So we see a few CPCAs hop in, and I always tell our newly certified members that you need to be networking. You need to be at your local chapter meetings. You need to be networking in our Facebook group and building those relationships. Most jobs come from relationships and that trust that those who are working in the field or that they have in you. So and even the step further, you can participate and volunteer and serve on a local chapter, AAPC local chapter presidency, and continue to build those relationships to get you that first employment. Any thoughts on that from you guys? First job.
I've had a lot of success stories with local chapters, actually. As when you were asking that question, I was thinking the same thing. Local chapters is a really good place to network with people. And then we always, mention to, getting your foot in the door, even if it may not be a coder position, getting your foot in the door with any type of, healthcare facility or hospital or doctor's office, as another position sometimes is a good place to network and meet people there as well.
Yes.
We've had a lot of success as well with people with the CPC Practicum in showing, their proficiency as well as as their timeliness, their proficiency, and their accuracy, because oftentimes when new coders are going up against seasoned coders, they have a harder time showing that they are just as proficient or even more proficient sometimes than others. And the great thing about that is it actually shows them on the with our online internship, the outcome. So they can actually go to these interviews and prove their value and prove actually their speed, their proficiency, their outcome, which actually most of us can't prove that. But when you can actually go to that, have your A removed and actually prove what you can do, then employers have something to look at, and they don't actually take into consideration as often, how new you are to the field, because you actually have proof of how great you are. So we've had some really great successes with that program as well as our local chapters in the networking and all those other things. So I think these are all really, really good suggestions.
Yes, and just a few more. We have the Project Extern program, which is an internship of sorts where you get experience in a coding office. And I know that doesn't cover every region, but you may want to check into that. And also we have a mentorship program. You can search AAPC mentorship program in Google, and that should get you close to the page you need to be at. But you can have a mentor who has decades of experience and can guide you along and help you on that path. And I know, guys, from my experience, just for anybody seeking a new career, I'd be stalker. I'd be on LinkedIn, and I'd look at all the coders in my local area who work at whatever hospitals or healthcare facilities in your area, and reach out to them, build friendships with them. And really, it's those relationships, because those positions will open up at some point, and they're going to need someone to refer. And you want your name to be at the top of that list. All right. Now, you guys, so we talked about
another thing that, Alex, on that too, go into our member benefits too, and make sure that you're using all of the skills about updating your resume and all of those awesome tools that we provide for our members about, keeping your resume updated, having your LinkedIn updated, and all those awesome tools, because, those things matter as well, right? I mean, appearances are everything. Getting in the door to get the interview is just as important as landing the interview, because if you're not in the door, you're never going to land the interview. So we have to, you have to show up on paper just as good as you're going to inside of the interview.
That's right. You are your own brand.
That's right.
Yeah. There's even a place in the member forums page where you can post your resume, and there's job things in the member forums are a way to connect with members everywhere, not just in your local area where local chapters are. So utilize the member forums pages as well.
Yep.
Okay. Now I want to head into our distance learning courses, our online education, to prepare you for a certification exam. Are they exclusively online, or are there classroom options available? Can you guys give us some insight to that? Justin Barrett, would you kick us off on that?
Absolutely. So about a year and a half ago, we launched our instructor-led trainings, and they are awesome. We just had a training on them, and it's been really successful, and it's helping individuals a lot. So you have an option where you can meet with other individuals, kind of like a traditional setting in a classroom. There's usually about 30 individuals that are in these meetings, and it's typically on like a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So usually you can put it into your schedule and work. It's about an hour, and then you'll do your homework in the course itself. And then you usually have about 15 hours of homework, depending on what your instructor has given for assignments that week. So if you want something more regimented and kind of keep you on task and keep you going, the Instructor-Led is a really great way to go through it. Or you can do our traditional learning, where it is our self-paced program. You can do it whenever you want. You can do it 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, Saturdays and Sundays. It's super flexible. And if you have any questions, you can still email our course coaches or request a phone call back through the email system. So the help and support is here when going through any of our trainings. The way the courses are laid out, I have this question a lot. It's like, what am I going through? You have video lectures that are more like PowerPoint presentations. You go forward and backward through them and rewatch them as much as you want during your access period. You'll have quizzes and tests online, and then reading assignments out of your ebooks. And the ebooks you can access from anywhere. So it's put together really, really well.
Okay, so with the self-paced opportunity, can how if I ask a question, how quickly will I expect to, or should I expect to receive a response, Justin?
Great question. So usually within about 1 business day is what we say. So over the weekend we're off, but they usually get back to you on Monday with whatever your questions are. And then again, you know, if you're just having a really hard time and say chapter 5 of the coding course, just write the course coaches and say, I'm having a really hard time. I'd really like to just be able to speak with someone, and then give them some times you're available the next couple of days, and they'll put it in the schedule to give you a call.
Okay. Now, Lori asked this: does the instructor-led course offer more in way of homework, like practice, than a self-paced course does?
From my understanding, it's pretty much the same curriculum, same everything that you're going through, but you're going to have additional question and answer. You're going to, you know, be able to, from my understanding, start to network with some of the students that are in the classes. So, you know, you can bounce questions and things off with each other there too. So I wouldn't say you're going to get more homework and more different things. You're going to go through the same program, but you are getting more with meeting with that instructor and additional insight in that Zoom meeting every single week.
You get more question answer, and you also get more clarity because you have one-on-one instructor time every single week. And so you get some time to go over any questions that you're having. You also get, they have lecture that they do go over to help summarize that is not in the self-paced course. For me, I'm a person that if I'm not held accountable to things every week, I'm not going to get it done. And so for me, self-paced, I could never do it. I remember in college when they first gave me my first self-paced course, I failed. It's the only course I ever failed because I thought I could do it all the last week. And I'm just not that guy. I have to show up and I have to be accountable. And as long as I'm accountable, I'm good. So for me, adding that the instructor-led was the best thing AAPC ever did. Now, other people that are really good at being accountable to themselves, that's a wonderful. The self-paced is great for them. But again, I'm the procrastinator. I'm the guy that'll try to do it all the weekend before, and it never works. So.
Yes.
Yeah, the accountability is really,
ahead,
really big. I've had a lot of students, that's kind of the feedback that I have gotten from instructor-led is being held accountable to deadlines, because every week, one of the big differences is with the self-paced, you can go ahead and go faster if you want in the course. So like Jeremy said, if someone's really self-motivated and they have extra time, they can go through the course a lot quicker. With the instructor-led, you are on a structured schedule with an instructor and your other classmates. You're meeting those students every week to discuss Q&A. The instructor's doing a review of the chapters you've all just completed. So everyone's going through the same chapters every week. So the instructor's saying, you know, everyone complete chapters 1 and 2 this week. Everyone's doing that on their own time, but they only have that week to complete that. So those deadlines and that accountability are a really big help in the interaction between the students. There's that weekly call, and then there's also some live chats throughout the week that the instructor sets up for those students as well, so that they get more of that quick turnaround. If they do have some of those questions that we were talking about before, they can pop onto those live chats as well. So the interaction is huge with the instructor-led.
I also think, Alex, that just like Jeremy and Bailey mentioned, I mean, when I'm talking to people about, you know, the difference between self-paced and live, a lot of times, you know, the live they want to do, it's schedule based. It may not just work with their schedule. And so, you know, self-paced is a fantastic option. The live is a fantastic option, right? So, I mean, sometimes it's just about whatever works best for your education style, like Jeremy said, you know, or like Bailey said, if you are self-motivated, I mean, you know, both options are very strong. And the biggest thing is that with the live, you know, you do want to make sure that for maybe that 16-week course, or, you know, that you're able to make, you know, the majority of those sessions as attendance as a part of it. So that's what we get. We talk a lot about that to our students as well.
Justin White, can you, if you're in the instructor-led and you feel like it's going too slow for you, can you jump ahead and just kind of make it your own pace?
That's a great question. And we get that sometimes. I mean, the whole point of the instructor-led is to keep everybody on the same type of cohort group, right? Like you don't want someone on chapter 5 if the class is on chapter 3. So, I mean, really, you do want to have people not falling behind and not getting too far ahead, right? That is the design, because like Justin Barrett said, you know, they give you tasks and homework and things to accomplish for that next week. And so your next week's chapter or your next week's lecture may be on chapter 5. And so, you know, you want to stick together with the class the best you can.
And if you miss one of those weekly classes, are they recorded and you can go in and watch them later? Do you know anything about if you miss one?
If you miss a class, basically you have access to your instructor chat. You don't have access to a recording until the course is completed. Then you have access to all the recordings. That's why attendance is, you know, important. But if you miss one, the odd one, life happens, that's perfectly fine. And then you have also teaching assistants as well as the instructor to help you catch up on anything that you missed. And then as far as just making sure that you're still getting caught up with the class. So yeah, I mean, you can miss the odd one here or there. That's not a problem. Okay.
All right. Hey, Bailey, what's the typical time that it takes for an online self-paced student to complete the course?
So again, that's going to go back to when we were talking about, you know, building that course for them. So depending on the course that we decide is best for them and whether they need those, you know, prerequisites or what courses, I would say if they're just doing coding, average time frame for someone to complete the course is about 4 months. And that is based on our students that spend probably 12 to 15 hours per week. That's usually the kind of baseline that we give them. And then again, if you want to go faster and spend more time than that, or if you need a little extra time, we do give you access to up to 6 months to the training. And then if we start talking about adding in those prerequisites, then that can add that additional time to those courses. But that's the baseline is 4 months is average time.
And is the instructor-led set up for a 4-month time frame as well?
That one, the CPC Instructor-Led is 16 weeks. And then if you do need those prerequisites, we also offer those in Instructor-Led environment. And that is a 12-week addition to add those prerequisites as well.
Okay.
So what is that? 28 weeks total?
Yep. All right. Well, Justin Barrett, I'm sure you get this question a lot. And online education has evolved so much over the last decade and longer, from when Jeremy took it and he was like, oh, what am I doing? So now, but do you get individuals who come in and say, I don't know if online learning's for me? And what do you have to say to them?
Yes, I do get that question. It's a lot of individuals that maybe are doing this as a second career or something, and this is new to them. I had just had a phone call this morning and a gal said, I'm kind of worried about this. I've never done an online course before. So, it's understandable and rightfully so to have that concern, but with our programs, they're put together for anyone to be able to go through. If you're a novice to someone that has already been working as a coder or been in the field. So they're put together very well across the board. And what I always say is, even if you're instructor-led or you're in self-paced, you can still go back and rewatch that video in those PowerPoints. So if you just don't understand something super well, then great, you can go through that. And that's why the help and support is here as far as the course coaches for any questions you have. And with the instructor being able to ask those live questions right then and there, and with the question and answer that's available with that from that portion. And the course and curriculum is put together by the best individuals in the business that put together our curriculum. And so they know what you need to not only be successful to pass the certification exam, but to prepare you for the workforce. So this isn't preparing you for just to try to pass the exam. This is preparing you for your career so that you're work ready when you get done at the end of this. So when an individual asks me that, I understand, but just know you're in the exact right place for what you're trying to do and get into this field. And the curriculum is, the best out there, and it's not overly hard. It's not going to be super easy. What I always say is the biggest things is just put in the time and have that end goal in mind of what you're trying to do. And, everything that we provide will help you accomplish that goal.
Cool thing about it, Alex, is So you mentioned back when I was in school, because you're right, it was horrible trying to do online learning, but you know, AAPC's put together a curriculum that uses the adult learning concepts. So you never go very much time without actually doing inside of our curriculum. So you're not just wasting time is the wrong word, but you're not just zoning out because you're actively learning. You actually are interacting with our content consistently so that you're doing what is being asked. So you not only are seeing it, hearing it, doing it. That's how you get retention. And so our adult learning concept that they've applied, and like Justin said, you know, we have the best subject matter experts in the business that are actually working in the field, preparing you to be job ready, not just to pass an exam. And I think that's what differentiates our curriculum from any other place out there.
Great. Thank you, Jeremy, for that. Bailey, Justin White, any thoughts for those maybe on the fence about online learning?
You know, it's kind of similar to what Jeremy and Justin said, but I would say that, you know, it's laid out so well. It's laid out that you know exactly what to expect. There's no, you know, the chapters are laid out to where you're reading the material, you're going online to your class, you're taking a quiz, you're listening to a lecture. It's really laid out to help you learn step by step. And then those coaches are there to help you if you get stuck. And, you know, I always tell people you're just taking it in small steps. Over time, you know, every step you take, you're getting closer to your goal, but you're learning along the way, as Jeremy mentioned. I mean, the fact that the same, you know, individuals who wrote our curriculum wrote our exam. And so, I mean, you're really getting the best training that you can to get certified.
Yes. Bailey, any thoughts?
The only one thing I was going to add is one of the things that I've had good feedback on a self-paced class, even though you are self-paced and you're in there, Jeremy was mentioning like the interaction, the lectures, you're going through slides at the same time that go along with these lectures, and they're not, so you're not just listening to a lecture and kind of zoning out, you're kind of having to click through these things while you're listening to this lecture, so you're still staying really engaged with it. And then everything that the two Justins mentioned with the layout is very user-friendly. I've had people from all age ranges, from all backgrounds go through the course and been very successful. So it is sometimes hard for someone that is new to any computer learning to get into an online course. But with where we are in the world right now, and online is kind of where things are going, and we are here to help and make sure we have a great customer service team here as well that can walk you through all of your like logging in and passwords, and super patient individuals there that can just sit on the phone with you and help you through whatever you need help with. So we have a great team here for that too. So don't be scared, and jump in and it will be great.
Yes. And I'd like to give a plug to the AAPC Facebook group that has over 40,000 members from those investigating the career to students to veteran coders who have done this for many, many decades, and they are so willing to help and help you with your studies. If you get hung up on a section, we see those questions come up not often, but when sometimes people get hung up on different sections, and you need a little hand through that, and that's what that's there for. All right, so this month, February, we're creeping up near the end of the month, but it is we do have a promotion on our education and our online our training. Justin White, would you give us a little overview of what that is about, and what do you recommend that a prospective student purchase to begin that journey towards a career?
Well, first and foremost, obviously call into the career counselors and, go through the process. But as far as the promotion, if that's specifically to your question, Alex, correct, is to our promotion this month, is a great time to purchase because of just the timing. I mean, just the fact that, for many of our core certifications, we're including books, the actual physical code books. The price of the course is lower. It's a great time to purchase this, just if you need like the prerequisites of medical terminology, anatomy, and pathophysiology, as well as like a CPC course or whatever course you add on to it, you have the time to get finished this year and to be certified. So this is a great time, start of the year, to be able to get, to take advantage of this promotion that, frankly doesn't come around that often. And so this is a perfect time to get started.
Justin White, what is included with that? Because not only is there the curriculum, but there are medical coding books that coders use every day to help them with their work. Do these packages include everything that they need, or tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. These packages come as packages. I mean, so that we give you everything that you need from start to finish. So we want, this was alluded to earlier, we want you to be certified, capable of taking the test and passing that, but also being work ready. We give you everything in these packages to make that happen. So, you get the code books, you get the electronic textbook, you get the whole package that comes with the national exam test, practice exams, the actual core curriculum, access to coaches or access to a live coach if that's the decision you decide to go with. A couple of our packages come with Practico, like Jeremy mentioned, which is the post-certification program. These are included in your packages to help you be successful and not need to worry about adding other things down the line. We want everything all inclusive so that you don't have to worry about anything except for getting the program started and working towards your certification.
Okay, great. Justin Barrett, do you have any thoughts about our curriculum and packages that help students make careers out of this?
Yeah, so I was going to say the same thing as Justin. This is a terrific time to be able to get started because of the time of year it is. There's still enough time to get through the whole program and test out by the end of the year. And so if you're able to get started, then great. This is a terrific time to do so. And if you call in, we're more than happy to answer any of your questions and point you in the right direction and make sure you get exactly what you need. And then to piggyback off the Practicum is so awesome, our Practico Practicum program. You're going to be getting 600 medical records and 60 questions and assessments. And in between every one of the 600 records, it gives you feedback and rationale to why it's coded the way that it is. So by the end of it, it really molds you into being a good coder and really preparing you well for the workforce. And as Jeremy had mentioned before, if you do really well on that, I suggest to my individuals, I say, print off your results. So when you go into that job interview, you can say, yes, I don't have a ton of coding experience in an office, but I'm coding at a 90% proficiency, and here's my results from AAPC's Practicum. So that's the most important add-on, honestly, in the whole entire package. And so, you're in the right place for what you're trying to do. AAPC has been around for 30 plus years. We have over 200,000 members at this point, very well known. Any doctor office, clinic, hospital, wherever you're going, recognizes these certifications and know how hard you had to work to get them. So just know you're in the exact right place for what you're trying to do.
Okay, great. Marta asked, and I don't know if you guys know this about the exam. She says, for the AAPC CPC Proctored exam, are all the subject questions scattered, or are they by section? Do you guys know that?
They're sectioned.
They're in by section. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there are case study questions in there that have been moved. They were scattered through the exam, the case studies, and now they've moved those to the end. So I think you take them all at the last. But Marta, we do have on our Facebook page a webcast that's available for you to watch that with Ray Marie Jimenez, who is over our education, and she talks about the specifics of the exam. So you check that out. All right, you guys, I think we're winding down here. Now, just a few more things about our education and our study materials. Do we offer payment plans for our curriculum? Bailey?
I can take that one. So payment plans, we have a partner called Climb that we work closely with. That is a financing option. So we do have a very seamless process with them that we work closely with you, helping you get that application filled out. You're mainly working with us on getting that set up, even though you are getting a financing loan with someone else. So we help you through that process of applying for monthly payments if that's something that you need. And then we also offer incentives for people that are able to pay up front as well. So we can talk through that finance side of it as well.
Okay.
Also, Alex, many times people can also go to their bank and get a low interest credit card too, because they do save quite a bit of money for paying up front. And so that's something that those that can do that is oftentimes an option they may want to take. So again, like Bailey said, we have a great partner in Climb that has very low interest rates, and banks are very often happy to help people with furthering their education. And so that's what our career counselors do. They help you through all the options should you need it.
Great. Thanks, Jeremy, for that clarification. Gal Karendang, I hope I'm saying your name right. Gal, please forgive me if I am not, but she says, almost done with Practico, all caps on Practico, like, whew. And she says, learning a lot and very grateful for the team we have at AAPC. Love from Temecula. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, Gal. Now, you guys, it came up, Justin brought this up, Justin White. He said, call in and we can help you along. So why should I call in? Why not just go online, pick my options and go from there? Justin Barrett.
I knew you're going to pick call me, so it is a good question. That's what we're here to do, is to make sure you choose the right package and the right training for you. I can't tell you how often someone will call in the next day and they order the complete wrong thing, and they're like, I think I got the wrong thing. And so then you have to worry about refunds and then changing things around, and we want to make sure you get the right thing right from the get-go. So that's what we're here for you to do, is to help make sure you get the right thing for you, or if you needed medical terminology and anatomy, so that you're not lost in the CPC program. So that's what we ask these questions and do all this, so that we point you in the right direction, because we want to, again, start you on the right foot, not the wrong foot. So that's what we're here for.
Wonderful. And I would imagine not everybody needs medical terminology or anatomy, and you guys help figure that out, right?
Right. And I was going to add one thing to that as well. As one of the other benefits of calling in and talking to someone is you have a contact here. So when you do order online and then you're confused about what's going on next, or to really know like what the next steps are, can be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, because you're getting emails and logins. So having someone to kind of walk you through that first process of like what emails to expect and how to get logged into what things and access what things is really helpful. So having someone that you can reach back out to individually and that can help you through the process is a big benefit of calling in as well.
Great. What's that phone number that a prospective student may want to call to get information?
Hardest question of the day.
So it's just the career counseling number right on our website. It's 1-877-290-0440.
Okay, 877-290-0440. And I just hit enter. I put that into the chat so everybody can have that. And if you have any questions about a career in medical coding, building, or there's so many other possibilities in the business of healthcare that we support, you can talk to one of the Justins or Bailey, and they can help you out with that. All right. Real quick before we wrap it up, Justin White, are there any common questions that you have that we may have not spoken about in this webcast?
I think maybe some of the larger questions that I get is, your ability to possibly work remotely and maybe be able to transition to a remote position with coding. And the answer is yes. I mean, that is definitely something, and it's, a trend that I think we've been seeing the last few years of a lot of jobs, not just coding, but a lot of jobs, working remotely or working from home, or more of a hybrid type of situation where you're maybe in the office a little bit or at home. So we get that question a lot. And, ultimately, what's nice, what I love about AAPC and our programs is that we're teaching you to be the best coder you can be. And it's a skill-based program, and, it's a skill-based job. And so, when you want to be able to work remote or get any type of position, then, you obviously want to be the best. And so going through our curriculum and doing everything that you're learning through the Practico, through the course, it's helping you get there. But the remote jobs are definitely an option. We have online national job board that you can type in, jobs across the country. This is a national certification, so it's good anywhere. And so that is a question that we get asked fairly, frequently.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Bailey, how about you? Any common questions that you get from prospective students that we should address?
Yeah, I was going to piggyback on Justin's really quick and go back to that Practicode again. I know that we're all, really preaching that Practicode, but it really is such a benefit. And I always mention to people, if you are hoping to work from home, this is a really good way for you to practice that type of environment, coding remotely. You're coding on your own in that program and then presenting that to these employers, showing that you can efficiently code these, notes from home. So definitely Practicode is a really good benefit to add to your resume if you are hoping to work remotely. Common questions that I get is, one that I can think of is, what happens if I don't finish in the time that is given, or what if something happens? We're all aware of how crazy life can be and how things can change quickly, and so we are here to help you extend your courses if needed. We have a great team that is willing to help you if things happen and we need to extend your time. We have deadlines and things that we can go over with you of how long you can do that, but options are definitely there if you need to extend your course, or again, if you want to go much faster and complete them quicker. We're pretty flexible on working through those things with you. That's a question I get a lot.
You can take your exam whenever you feel ready.
Yeah, I mean, you do have an expiration date on it, but you have a full year of usually to take your exam. And with that CPC course we're talking about, usually should take you 4 months to complete that. So that gives you more than enough time to really, feel ready and make sure you're practicing. Practice exams are one of my favorite things to really push people to use as much as possible before an exam, because they really help with your speed. I would say that a lot of people come back with, it was hard to finish the exam in the time given. And so that is a big thing, is practice exams, because you can use those as many times as you need to. You can go in there and use the practice exams over and over again, get your speed down so that you can get through those questions quickly and practice for that exam. So practice exams are really a good thing to use.
That is by far and the most consistently brought up tool that I see in the groups and just among previous students of ours. Even if, they just say, hey, you absolutely should be taking our practice exams. Some, or I shouldn't say some, many believe that they are more difficult than the real exam. I talked to Ray about that, and she says, she's like, no, they aren't. They're just new. So it's like the first time that you're having that experience. So it just feels very difficult, but it's better to have that experience in practice,
right,
than when you're taking the exam.
Yes, and do them until you're comfortable, and then when you go take your real exam, it won't feel so new.
That's right. Justin Barrett, before you tell us your most common question, maybe, or questions that we should be sharing, will you first begin by telling us what are the hours of our career counselors? When are they available? Jenna Edwards is asking.
Yeah, so we are here from 7 in the morning Mountain until 5 p.m. Mountain time every day except for Friday, and then it's usually till 4 p.m. Mountain. So we're here extended hours. I'm one of the early guys, and then we have individuals that stay late, and we work late sometimes, just to help. I worked pretty late last night, but I love helping individuals and helping with these phone calls. And so we're here for you all during those hours. So
That's Monday through Friday, though, not
yeah,
the
Monday
weekend.
through Friday. And then we're off on the weekend on Saturday and Sundays and back early Monday morning.
Great. And how about you, as far as common questions that you get asked that we maybe have not addressed in this webcast?
So 2 questions. The first one is, when can I start? So you have instructor-led trainings and they are rolling all the time. And we have so many available dates. So typically you're only waiting a couple weeks to when you're actually starting that program. So you don't have to wait for a semester or wait a few months to get started. You can get started as soon as you enroll and get started with the program. For self-paced, as soon as you order, you get started immediately. Within a couple of hours, you can get rolling into your program and have everything that you need to get started, even before your code books are mailed to you, if you're enrolling in the CPC course, for instance. So that's one of the questions I get, is when can I actually start? The other question is kind of piggybacking off the exam is, well, where can I take the exam? So we hold so many exams every single month across the whole entire country. So it's inevitable one of these exams should be within an hour's drive from you, unless you're really rural or something, that you're able to go to. So there's plenty of exam availability also.
For the CPC, we also have them online, right?
Yes.
So I mean, we have plenty of availability there as well.
Yes. Great. Thank you, Justin, for sharing that. Jeremy, what are we missing? Anything?
You didn't ask me what my most common asked question is. I mean, that is, Jeremy, why are you so handsome? And I don't know how to answer it, but I try every time. No, I'm just kidding. I think the most important thing is to remind people that you can do this, right? If you're dedicated and you believe and you believe in your outcomes, partnering with AAPC to get this done, you can do it. And those of you that are struggling out there to find your jobs, you can still do this too. Just get out there, make your resumes look good, sell yourselves, because you have the best training in the world for the medical coding side of healthcare, right? The revenue side of healthcare. This is the place to get it done. Get out there, and I'm really proud of everyone for taking this first step, because once you get into the coding or the billing, the opportunities are endless for even career growth, right? You can then go into, after a few years, auditing. You could then become an instructor. You could then possibly go into compliance. I mean, the list goes on and on. With once you begin, you can actually have a trajectory of career growth that's unparalleled to any other industry. And healthcare, as we've all seen, isn't ever going to go away, right? So what an exciting time and an exciting place to begin. That's the only thing I'd add.
Yes, that's awesome. And I encourage all of those who are watching, who may be thinking about this career path, go to our YouTube channel and look at the I Am AAPC videos, where we interview those who have a journey that started just like yours, with uncertainty, maybe some fear, but these individuals they've done it. They were tenacious. They never stopped giving up on trying to find that first job, and they have wonderful careers. In fact, the pandemic, is awful as it's been life-changing in positive ways for many of our members. And I'm sure you guys have spoken with members, as I have, where I think of one gentleman in Pittsburgh he was a cook for most of his career. He's in his 40s, I believe. And he stumbled on medical coding, he was out of work because everything was shut down for a time, if you remember that, and who could forget that? And he took our curriculum, and he actually has a full-time job, and then he has a moonlight part-time job coding. So it's possible. You guys can do it. We believe in you. If you have questions, I posted the phone number in our chat. So you can give a career counselor or a call. You might get Justin, Bailey, or one of the Justins or Bailey, or another great counselor, and they'd be happy to help you out.